The Shenyang J-11 has become one of the most prominent yet fundamentally flawed symbols of China's attempt to portray itself as a world-class military power. Though it continues to be featured in tightly choreographed airshows, televised intercepts, and official military parades, the reality behind this aircraft reveals an underperforming, outdated, and overhyped platform that has not only failed to deliver the capabilities promised by state propaganda but also exposed deeper systemic weaknesses in China's aerospace sector. The origins of the J-11 are rooted in technology acquisition rather than innovation. Rather than being an indigenous creation, it is based on a foreign platform acquired through licensed importation. What followed was a campaign of reverse engineering that lacked transparency, quality assurance, or the scientific discipline typically associated with cutting-edge defense development. As a result, the aircraft inherited a 1980s-era design philosophy and structure but lacked the production quality, engine reliability, and electronic sophistication of its original blueprint. Over the years, multiple variants were developed domestically, each one promoted as a leap forward, but almost none able to escape the core design limitations or reach the promised combat performance levels. The central failure of the J-11 program lies in propulsion. The domestically built engine fitted to most J-11 units has consistently been among the most underperforming components in China's fighter fleet. The engine suffers from low thrust generation, high fuel consumption, unpredictable performance in high-altitude environments, and an alarmingly short operational lifespan. Documented cases have shown engines requiring overhauls after just a few dozen flight hours. These shortcomings drastically reduce mission readiness and limit the aircraft's range, climb rate, and overall maneuverability. Engineers have spent years trying to fix this issue, rolling out updated versions of the engine that continue to fall short. Ground crews across multiple Chinese airbases have been forced to ground entire squadrons while scavenging working components from other aircraft, all to keep just a few units flying. The avionics suite on board the J-11 has also failed to meet modern combat standards. The radar used in most operational variants remains mechanically scanned, offering significantly reduced detection range, tracking precision, and resistance to jamming compared to the modern standards used by pure air forces. The lack of advanced radar severely limits the aircraft's ability to engage targets at long distances or operate effectively in environments saturated with electronic warfare. The targeting systems are rudimentary, lacking high-resolution imaging capabilities, and the cockpit interface remains cluttered, analog-heavy, and incompatible with high-speed information processing. Furthermore, the J-11 lacks data-linked systems necessary for network-centric warfare, meaning it cannot effectively share target information, synchronize with drones or ground stations, or coordinate with other aircraft in joint operations. A modern air force relies heavily on integration between air, ground, sea, and space-based systems. The J-11, lacking the software infrastructure and communication hardware needed for seamless battlefield integration, is essentially cut off from this entire operational ecosystem. It cannot relay or receive real-time battlefield data, making it a tactical liability during high-speed, multi-theater engagements. These weaknesses are not simply abstract, they have been demonstrated in live scenarios. In multiple intercepts of surveillance aircraft from other countries between 2023 and 2025, the J-11 failed to maintain safe distances. Often flying erratically and requiring human intervention from AWACS units to deconflict flight paths. Far from displaying control and confidence, the aircraft's flight behavior suggested instability and limited onboard navigation or automation capacity. Training pilots for the J-11 has also proved costly and ineffective. Due to the aircraft's mechanical fragility and lack of intuitive digital systems, training missions are frequently cancelled or shortened. Pilots transitioning from more modern aircraft have described the J-11 as outdated and difficult to manage during complex maneuvers, especially under simulated combat stress. This results in a platform that not only underperforms in combat but also drains operational resources even during peacetime. Aircraft availability rates are reportedly low, with some squadrons struggling to keep even 30% of their fleet airworthy at any given time. In a modern air force, this level of inefficiency is unacceptable and unsustainable. Despite these glaring weaknesses, the Chinese government continues to portray the J-11 as a frontline, capable fighter. Every year, highly staged footage of the aircraft is released, showing tight formation flights, missile firings, and airfield readiness drills. However, analysts using open-source intelligence tools, satellite imagery, and independent data have noted that many of these aircraft are static and show signs of long-term storage or inactivity. Hangars that once housed full squadrons of J-11s are increasingly being repurposed for logistics operations, drone storage, or testing facilities for newer aircraft. It's also worth noting that the J-11 has completely failed to attract export interest. Despite years of public relations campaigns, airshow appearances, and bilateral defense discussions, no country has placed a confirmed order for the aircraft. This is a stark contrast to what would be expected for a supposedly capable and affordable fourth-generation fighter. Potential customers, particularly those seeking low-cost alternatives, have repeatedly declined the J-11, either due to concerns about maintenance costs, lack of technological transparency, or poor track records with Chinese military exports. The international arms market has quietly but firmly rejected the aircraft, undermining Beijing's claims of the platform's competitiveness. The J-11 also plays a significant role in geopolitical signaling, especially in regional flashpoints such as the South China Sea or East China Sea. These deployments, often aimed at foreign surveillance aircraft, are broadcast on Chinese media as acts of strength. However, close analysis of the aircraft's posture, engagement distance, and behavior shows that these are defensive intimidation tactics, not genuine air dominance operations. When real-time footage from other nations is released, the J-11's approach often appears clumsy, risky, and uncoordinated. Rather than projecting strength, these incidents tend to reinforce the perception that the aircraft is being pushed beyond its limits in a desperate attempt to stay relevant. The broader impact of the J-11's continued use is strategic stagnation. Its outdated design continues to consume resources that could be better spent on modern platforms or infrastructure upgrades. The platform clutters command structures, complicates training programs, and lowers the overall technological average of China's fighter fleet. As a result, it acts as an anchor dragging down long-term efforts at real military modernization. While China boasts of cutting-edge weapons in other domains, the J-11 remains a technological dead zone, something kept in place for show, not for substance. By mid-2025, the gap between how the J-11 is portrayed and what it actually is has become impossible to ignore. It remains an airframe from a different era, unable to match the pace, integration, or survivability of modern warfare. With no export success, no modern battlefield achievements, and no meaningful technological innovation, the aircraft today represents one thing above all else: the vast difference between propaganda and reality. Its continued presence in the skies is not a testament to national strength, but a visible reminder of a country still struggling to escape the legacy of imitation and the limits of its own industrial ambitions.